Picture two kings. Nature built them on opposite sides of the planet, gave them almost the same body, the same weapons, the same job. Apex predator, top of the food chain, fear nothing. And then, by pure geography, made sure they would almost never meet. One rules the grasslands of Africa, the other haunts the forests of Asia. And for about 2,000 years, ever since somebody first dragged them into the same arena, one question has refused to die. If a lion and a tiger actually fought, who would win? Now everyone has an answer. Almost everyone's answer is wrong, because the honest truth isn't the lion, obviously, and it isn't the tiger, obviously, either. The real answer hangs on a single word that almost nobody thinks to ask, and once you hear it, you can't unhear it. So let's do this properly. No tribalism, no vibes, just the science, the records, and the one twist that settles it. Welcome to the arena. Here's how we settle it. We're going to build both of these cats from the ground up. Size, weapons, speed, and the thing that actually decides fights, which is how each one was raised to fight. Then we're going to look at what actually happened the handful of times these two really were put in a ring together. Rome, a Maharaja's palace, a zoo in Ankara, and I'll tell you straight which of those stories are evidence and which are just very good campfire tales. And at the end, you get an honest verdict. Not a cop-out, it depends. An actual lean, with the reasons, and the one caveat that flips the whole thing. But before any of that, we have to kill the single most repeated line about this fight, because it's wrong, and it's the key to everything. The lion, king of the jungle. Here's the problem. The lion does not live in a jungle. It has never lived in a jungle. Lions live in open savanna and grassland, wide, flat, dry country where you can see for miles. The animal that actually lives in the jungle, the dense forest, the mangrove, and the deep woods, is the tiger. So right out of the gate, the most famous fact about the lion is a marketing slogan, and the tiger quietly owns the address. Keep that in mind, because nearly everything you know about this matchup is bent the same way. Let's meet the contenders properly. Start with the tiger, because on paper the tiger is the bigger animal, and it's not particularly close. A male Bengal tiger, the classic Indian fighter, averages around 480 pounds. That's already heavier than almost any lion alive. And the Bengal is not even the big one. The Siberian, the Amur tiger of the frozen Russian Far East, tops out near 660 pounds and stretches to 10 feet nose to tail. That is the largest cat that has ever walked the earth. Nothing in the cat family, living or extinct that we can measure, beats it for sheer size. And it's not just big, it's built like a weapon. 4-inch claws, longer than a lion's. The longest canine teeth of any big cat alive, up around 3 inches of fang. A body that's basically one long slab of fast twitch muscle wrapped in stripes. And those stripes aren't decoration, they're camouflage because of how this animal makes its living. Because here's the defining fact about a tiger. It hunts and it fights, completely alone. Its entire life. A tiger is a solitary ambush assassin. It stalks, it flattens itself into the grass, and it detonates out of cover in one explosive charge, and if that charge fails, it usually just leaves. Because a solo hunter that gets injured is a solo hunter that starves. Every fight a tiger has ever had has been do or die, with no backup coming. Ever. And when it commits, it has one more trick that matters enormously in a fight. A tiger will rear up onto its hind legs and box with both front paws at once. Both of them. That's a reach and a weight of blow. A lion simply can't match standing flat. Remember that. It's the tiger's best move and, as we'll see, also its biggest mistake. Now the lion, slightly smaller. A big male runs 400 to 500 pounds. but it stands the tallest at the shoulder of any cat on Earth, and its whole front end is a monument to violence. Chest, neck, and shoulders packed with the kind of muscle built for one heavy, bone-breaking forepaw strike. One swipe from a male lion can break a hyena's spine. Its roar carries 5 miles, 3-inch claws, 3-inch fangs, a hair shorter than the tiger's, but attached to arguably the most experienced brawler in the animal kingdom. And that's the word that matters. Experienced. Because the lion breaks the #1 rule of the cat family. It doesn't live alone. Lions live in prides, and the males live and die by a thing called a coalition, usually a band of brothers who team up to take over a pride, and then spend every day of their lives defending it from the next band of brothers who want it. A male lion's entire existence is combat. He is, functionally, a career prize fighter who never leaves the ring, and it shows in how he fights, composed, patient, low panic. A lion in a real scrap tends to plant 3 paws on the ground for balance and throw one enormous, economical blow, conserving energy, waiting for the opening. He's not the biggest cat in the fight, he's the calmest. Oh, and one more thing, because it's the lion's other famous fact, and it's also not quite true. The mane. Everyone will tell you the mane is armor, that it protects the lion's neck so a tiger can't get the killing throat bite in. It's a great story. The science says no. A landmark study by West and Packer, published in the journal Science, found no evidence that the mane actually reduces neck wounds in a fight. What the mane really is a billboard, a health advert. A big, dark, full mane tells rival males, "I am strong, do not test me," and tells females, "I am a good bet." It's a signal, not a shield. So scratch, the mane protects him off your card. He's going into this bare-necked, same as the tiger. So let's actually score it, attribute by attribute, honestly. Size and weight, tiger, clean win. Bigger, heavier, longer. In a collision of 2 400-plus pound cats, mass is momentum, and the tiger brings more of it. Weapons, tiger, narrowly. Longer claws, longer fangs. As for bite force, you'll see confident numbers thrown around. A neat lion is 650 psi, tiger is 1,000. Be careful with those. Every one of those figures is an estimate, a model, not a clean measurement off a live animal, and one of the few actual readings came from a young subadult lion, which drags the lion number down unfairly. The honest version, their bites are in the same brutal ballpark, with the tiger's estimated a touch higher, enough to crush a spine either way. Don't let anyone sell you the decimal points. Speed and agility. Tiger. It's a shade faster off the mark and noticeably more flexible and acrobatic, which is what lets it pull that 2-pawed standing attack. So far, this is a tiger landslide, and if that were the whole story, we'd be done. But, therefore, this is exactly where the people who scream tiger obviously stop reading, and it's exactly where they go wrong. Because a fight is not a spec sheet. And the lion has been quietly winning the 2 rounds that don't show up on the tape. Fighting style and temperament. The tiger is a loner who avoids fights, brilliant at the ambush, but psychologically built to disengage, because in its world, a fight it doesn't have to have is a fight it shouldn't have. The lion is the opposite, a social animal that fights constantly, for status, for the pride, for its life, and knows how to keep its head while another cat is trying to remove it. And watch what happens when they actually clash, which, a few grim times in history, they really have. The tiger comes in hot and feisty, rears up, throws a flurry of blows with both paws, spectacular, and burns through its energy fast, and if that opening flurry doesn't land the kill, it can start to panic. The lion weathers it, stays down on 3 paws, stays economical, and waits for the tiger to tire, then lands the one that counts. The bigger cat gasses out, the calmer cat closes. So the tape says tiger, the temperament says lion, and that tension is the entire reason this argument has lasted 2,000 years. But what about when they actually fought? Fair. Let's go to the tape, the real historical tape, and this is where our honesty earns its keep, because almost everything you've been told here is a story wearing a lab coat. Rome. Yes, the Romans really did throw lions and tigers into the arena, and you'll hear that the lion usually won. Here's what the record actually says. The poet Martial wrote down essentially one such result, a tigress killing a lion, and he described it as rare, as something startling he hadn't seen before. That's it. One line. So both camps are lying to you. The lion usually won in Rome, and the tiger always won in Rome, are equally made up. Rome is a fantastic story and completely useless as evidence. Next, the famous one. The late 1800s pit fight staged by the Maharaja of Baroda, who supposedly matched a prize Barbary lion named Atlas against a Bengal tiger in front of a huge crowd. The tiger won, the lion got a royal burial, and the tiger was crowned king of the cat family. It's a spectacular tale. It's almost certainly a tale. There's no reliable first-hand record it ever actually happened. Historians file it under legend, not history. Great around a campfire, worthless in a courtroom. And then the one that's actually real, and actually chilling. Ankara Zoo, 2011. A tiger and a lion in adjacent enclosures, a gap in the divider between them. The tiger reached a single paw through that gap and killed the lion with one swipe that opened its jugular. One move. Dead. That happened, but, and this matters, that was not a fair fight. That was an ambush through a doorway, the tiger's absolute best-case scenario, against a lion who never saw it coming. It tells you how devastating a tiger's strike is. It tells you nothing about who wins face-to-face. Even the old lion tamers, the men who spent their whole careers in cages with both, even they split down the middle. The legendary Clyde Beatty backed the lion, others backed the tiger. The people with the most first-hand experience on Earth couldn't agree, which should tell you something about anyone online who's absolutely certain. And here's the quiet punchline under all of it. In the wild, this fight basically never happens. It can't. A few centuries ago, lions and tigers did overlap across the Middle East, Central Asia, and India. They genuinely shared ground. But that overlap is gone. Today, the only country with both is India, and they're kept completely apart. The last few hundred Asiatic lions are penned into the Gir forest in Gujarat, and the tigers live everywhere else. They do not meet. This entire 2,000-year war is, and always has been, a thought experiment, which is probably why we can't let it go. So, honestly, who wins? When actual scientists are cornered into picking, and most of them really don't want to, they tend to nudge gently toward the tiger, one-on-one. A Smithsonian big cat biologist put it memorably. Tigers, he said, seem more willing to just go for the kill, throat, done, while lions will pound and play. Add that to the tape, bigger, heavier, longer weapons, and a lifetime of solo do-or-die fighting. And the balance of evidence gives a fair one-on-one fight a slight edge to the tiger. But I want to be dead honest with you because this is exactly where every lazy video lies to you with false confidence. It is not settled. It is close. It swings hard on the individual animal. A prime Siberian is a very different problem than an average Bengal. An old lion is a very different problem than a coalition male in his prime. And on age, health, and who's having the worst day. Anyone who tells you the tiger wins 10 times out of 10 is selling you certainty that doesn't exist. Call it a slight lean, not a law. And now the word. The one this whole thing has been hanging on. Ready? Alone. Every single thing we just said. The tiger's edge, the honest, one-on-one lean, assumes one lion against one tiger. And that is the one fight a lion was never, ever built to have. Think about what we learned. The tiger is a solo assassin. The lion is the only big cat on the planet that evolved to fight as a team. Its entire body, its temperament, its whole society is designed around the coalition. Brothers fighting shoulder to shoulder. So a lone lion facing a tiger is a lion fighting with one hand tied behind its back, doing the one job it was specifically not designed to do alone. Put it the other way, the way nature actually built it, and the answer flips completely. A tiger against a lion coalition, 2, 3 males who have fought as a unit their entire lives, isn't a fair fight in the tiger's favor. It's not a fair fight at all. The tiger loses, and it loses fast because you cannot ambush your way out of being surrounded by professionals who do this together for a living. So here's the real answer, the honest one, the one that actually ends the argument. One lion versus one tiger. Lean tiger, barely. But a lion was never meant to fight alone. Ask lion or tiger, and you've asked the wrong question. Ask one cat or the family. And now you understand the fight. And you, soft, slow, clawless you, against either one? I think you already know. You are, to a 400-pound ambush predator, a slow-moving meat piñata that helpfully walks on 2 legs, so it's easier to knock over. Your one advantage over every animal we've discussed is the 3 pounds of brain you're using to watch this instead of meeting one in person. Use it. Stay on the correct side of the screen. If you're new here, welcome to Tooth and Claw Arena, where we take the arguments you've been having since the playground and settle them with actual science every single week. If you enjoyed watching 2 apex predators get fact-checked, hit subscribe. There's a new showdown, an honest one, waiting for you every week. Next time, we hunt the single deadliest animal in the history of the world. And it is not a lion, it is not a tiger, it is not a shark. It is smaller than your thumbnail. You have almost certainly killed one this year, and it has killed more human beings than every war in history combined. You will not guess it. Actually, try. Put your guess in the comments right now, along with the only thing that matters here, lion or tiger, and be honest about why. Until then, stay out of the arena.